In 1994, Detroit became the hunting ground for a gang like no other. A group of criminals, dressed in police uniforms and body armor, began raiding homes, deceiving everyone into thinking they were law enforcement. But what began as a few targeted drug raids soon spiraled into a violent spree that would terrorize innocent families. This is the chilling story of a gang that impersonated the very police meant to protect the public. As the FBI closed in, what they uncovered was far more shocking than anyone could have imagined. It all started in February 1994 when the gang stormed a home in one of Detroit's most dangerous neighborhoods. Drug dealers in the area were used to police raids, so when the gang dressed in tactical gear and claimed to be officers, no one questioned them. Inside the house, the gang pointed guns at the drug dealers, demanding to know where the money was. One man, thinking they were real cops, refused to talk, but the gang wasn't fooled by his bravado. They fired a shot next to his head. That was the breaking point. The man, terrified, revealed the stash, and just like that, the gang fled with the cash. But it wasn't until later that the man realized these weren't real police. He immediately called the real authorities to report the robbery. What seemed like a random break-in soon became a pattern. Over the next few months, more than 50 similar robberies were reported across Detroit. In each case, the descriptions matched: men dressed in police uniforms, armed with high-powered weapons, and using military-style tactics. They didn't just target drug dealers. They went after anyone, including the elderly and women. The gang's brutality went beyond what the police had ever encountered. One woman was even attacked in her own home, simply because the gang had the wrong address. A drug raid turned into a nightmare, and the woman was left badly injured. The violence escalated, and the police could no longer ignore the threat. A special task force was created, combining the Detroit Police Department and the FBI. Their goal was clear: take down this gang before they hurt anyone else. But the criminals left no traces. No fingerprints, no faces exposed, and no evidence to lead the police to their hideout. It became clear that these criminals were well prepared. They didn't just break into homes. They executed their raids with precision, like an elite law enforcement unit. The FBI began considering the possibility that these men were either former police officers or had been trained by them. Then, on July 26, 1994, everything changed. A man was found shot multiple times in a shootout. The man, later identified as Dante Garrison, was in police gear, armed with an assault rifle. He had been involved in a botched robbery. He was rushed to the hospital, and the detectives knew he could be the key to bringing the gang down. But they had to play their cards right. Dante was gravely injured, and he had to trust that the police would protect him. As Dante's condition improved, the detectives made their move. They assured him of immunity if he cooperated. After some convincing, he agreed to work with them. Dante revealed the shocking truth. The gang wasn't just a group of small-time criminals. It was a well-organized operation with over 30 members. The two masterminds, O.B. Carter and Andre Woods, were the brains behind all. O.B. planned the heist while Andre led the execution, training the gang in police tactics. Dante's confession gave the investigators the names and details they needed, but they still needed more evidence to make an airtight case. With Dante's help, the task force began surveilling the gang's movements. Soon, they discovered the gang's safe houses, hidden stash spots, and even the locations where they planned their raids. The gang's next big operation was scheduled for November 11th, 1994. The target, a drug dealer's house. With this information, the FBI and the task force were ready to strike, but they needed to catch them red-handed. On the night of November 11th, the police had eyes on the gang. They had followed them to a house, and after the raid, they were ready to make their move. The SWAT team had a plan: intercept the gang as they left the house. But just as the SWAT team moved in, the gang caught on and sped off in their van. A high-speed chase ensued, and the gang opened fire at the pursuing officers. The chase was intense, with bullets flying in every direction. The officers were outnumbered, but they kept pushing forward, determined to end the gang's reign of terror. The chase led to a dramatic showdown. The van suddenly screeched to a halt, and the gang members jumped out, guns blazing. Officer Steve Miller, who had been following them, chased after the gang. Alone and outnumbered, he he found himself facing 4 armed criminals. The tension was unbearable. A shootout erupted, and for a few moments, it seemed like Miller might be killed. But luck was on his side. He returned fire, and miraculously, he wasn't shot. The gang members scattered, but one was left behind. He was later found dead from gunshot wounds. After O.B. Carter, the gang leader, was killed, the remaining members were arrested. The FBI raided their hideouts, uncovering stolen goods and weapons used in the robberies. Evidence gathered from their safe houses and confessions from the captured gang members sealed their fate. The final blow came when 29 members of the gang were arrested, convicted, and sentenced to prison. This gang, which had terrorized Detroit with their brutal raids, was finally brought to justice. The FBI's tireless work, combined with the bravery of the Detroit Police Department, ended their reign of terror. The gang members may have thought they were untouchable, but in the end, the truth always comes out. If you found this story gripping and want to hear more true crime tales, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. You won't want to miss the next chilling story we have for you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.